Hello, welcome to the Index series, where we take a look at some of science fiction's species and what makes them unique. Today's video is on the Hirogen, Star Trek's species of Delta Quadrant residents whose culture simply abides to the notion of the hunt. Without delay, let's get the rundown on this race. Biologically, the Hirogen are very tough. Their skin is mottled by scale-like patterns and quite resilient. They too have keen senses as expected from a predatory species and a physical strength surpassing that of a Vulcan. They are also very tall when compared to galactic averages, easily reaching over 7 foot. The females of the species are not seen but are referred to choose their mates based on their proficiency at hunting. Another useful trait is that their immune systems could effectively nullify most sedatives. 1,000 years ago, the Hirogen had a thriving culture, one that still likely included hunting, but was also one of technological advancement and civilizations. Yet over time, they gave in more and more to their predatory instincts to hunt until it became an all-consuming way of life. They now live a more nomadic lifestyle, and their homeworld hasn't even been alluded to. They are spreading outwards in a gradual attempt to find new hunting grounds, leading them further and further apart as a species, which creates a dissolution of their society. Most Hirogen live on their ships with a small crew. It's not unusual for a single vessel to only have 2 occupants, and these ships travel in small groups, spread out over a sector of space, searching for worthy prey. When the quarry is located, they begin to stalk the target, while signalling for the rest of the pack to join them. A group of Hirogen possesses an alpha as their leader who dictates strategy and leads the hunt. Then there is the beta who acts as the second in command, enforcing the will of the alpha on the rest. Should the alpha die, the beta takes command. It is not unusual for an overeager hunter, especially a youth, to become lost in the glory and urges of their hunting instincts, seeking to usurp the authority of the alpha to claim their own trophies. Such actions are often frowned upon, but as is suggested by their hierarchy, repeated successes may lead to the creation of a competing alpha. Their views on other lifeforms are pretty limited. They were the hunters and everything else was the prey for them to hunt. Saying that, they were capable of trade and didn't immediately kill every species they came across, but would more than likely hunt a lone vessel. The concept of a fair hunt is present throughout how they conduct their activities, in an attempt to provide more worth to a trophy, the experience, and in a strange way their prey. A Hirogen will prefer to make the kill in person, rather than ship-to-ship combat. They will sometimes give prey a chance to flee to extend the hunt, so they may study its moves. They often frown on using overpowered technology against an inferior species, as it cheapens the thrill of the sport. Then again, they will also quite contentedly gun down a defenceless prey once they have satisfied their primal thrill-seeking. This is referred to as the time of the kill, and seen as the culmination to a successful hunt. A poor hunt is one where the prey offered little challenge to the hunters. For example, a successful ambush against an unwary target that results in its capture is often seen as a wasted effort, despite it reflecting excellent hunting technique and a flawless execution. The most prized hunt is to find a quarry that runs the risk of outsmarting, losing, or even turning the tables on its Hirogen pursuers. It is sage advice from the experienced hunters that temper their younger members with cautions not to underestimate their prey, even to respect it. The reasons for extending the length of the hunt may be rooted in the philosophy as well as their desire for sport, with some hunts taking up to 6 months to complete. Some see the actions of prey as a way of understanding how other species work, and even as a learning opportunity for the Hirogen. Examining the prey's motivations, instincts, and even culture to some extent taught the Hirogen how to become more effective hunters. Some, more radically, believed that immersing yourself in the culture of your prey could further lead to Hirogen development, though these views were considered unconventional. It is not uncommon for them to bag prey alive and bind it until they have had time to study the acquisition and question it if sentient. This way, they may slaughter their prize in a controlled setting and reduce the likelihood of damaging a trophy from their quarry, as well as learn from their prey. The captive is then marked with a smear of dark blue paint over the right brow. This seems to be tied to one of their rites concerning the proper execution of the hunt. The experience had during the hunt determines the individual worth of a trophy alongside the rarity or uniqueness. Trophies are displayed within the Hirogen's dwelling, often their ships, and are termed artifacts of the hunt. Most often these trophies take on the form of a biological component of the prey itself, but sometimes salvaged technology. Often skeletal structures are displayed around a Hirogen vessel, either mounted to a bulkhead or hanging from collection nets. Other organs can prove to be worthy of display, such as intestines, which would necessitate some form of preservation. After an appropriate trophy has been selected, the remainder of the capture is added to a denaturating tank to break it down. It has been suggested that the resulting soup is then ingested, though no Hirogen has ever been witnessed doing so, but it's not unlikely that they consume their prey. After all, this is the original intent of hunting. The rest of the unwanted prey, such as skin, is often dumped unceremoniously where it was found, and the Hirogen move on, leaving behind a grisly signpost of their passing. There seem to be a number of rites observed with ritualistic fashion surrounding the hunt. When a hunt is declared, a Hirogen will apply 2 white stripes over their left brow, whether helmeted or not, or mimic the action if no paint is present. Another mark of the hunt is 2 red stripes, one over each brow, to mark out the leader of a hunt. Marking captured prey with a blue stripe over the right brow seems to indicate it as a prize of the hunt to be prepared. There is also the use of 2 green stripes over the right brow, which was applied during a rescue attempt on the Hirogen's part, so this may indicate to other Hirogen that they are in the midst of an operation other than a hunt. During a hunt, they would communicate with hand signals and minimal verbalization, along with the use of their technology. Being a race immersed in hunting a wide range of creatures and aliens, as well as their preclusion for taking trophies from their game, leads even the most basic Hirogen to have a grounded understanding of the anatomy of a myriad of species. It's not surprising then that they prove to have proficient healers and medics among their number, as many a Hirogen are wounded in the pursuit of their quarry. Though a Hirogen healer or surgeon has an efficient grasp of the physiology of many species, their cultural bias against most others, and their own species' hardy nature, leads them to be somewhat rough and crude when plying their trade to non-Hirogen patients. There seems to be no bias against medical care among their culture, as given the choice of continuing a hunt or losing your life to an infected wound, most Hirogen will choose to live to hunt another day, even accepting aid from outsiders if it will keep them alive. Some Hirogen bear scars from past hunts as marks of their past conquests, despite having the medical know-how to remove them. Other Hirogen technology includes their rifles, which are Tetrion based and look like they've been ripped right off a Harley Davidson. They possess the ability to stun a target as well as kill, and have a sensor and tracking device built into the stock. Their ships were rather small, as suited their pack-like hunting methodology, but possessed a number of adaptations to allow them to contend with more powerful vessels. Their monotanium plating was incredibly durable, but had the added benefit of scattering active scans of their vessels, making automated targeting of them a hassle. They utilised a highly invasive scan to effectively flashbang a ship's sensors before they struck. They lacked any form of cloaking device, fortunately, but had learned how to effectively conceal their vessel's emissions to enter a stalking mode that would make vessels much harder to detect. Their armaments were rather powerful too, for vessels of their size, attributed to the scale of their cannons that were seldom used to actually destroy ships. As mentioned, the Hirogen prefer to engage in a sense of fair play with their prey, and after disabling shields, they often tractor beam the target, board the ship, and assault their quarry on a personal basis. Assault their quarry on a personal basis. Sounds like they're hurling insults. I could have phrased that one better. Each vessel ends up with a highly personalised interior, as it is used to display the artefacts of the hunt and trophies the crew have acquired. One of their most impressive feats is their advanced armour, which also looks cool AF. Their armour acts as a life support and can apparently withstand the surface mantle of a collapsed star. Even if this is hyperbole, it's still very durable. Much of their technology, as can be surmised, is geared up towards the act of hunting, leaving little room for much else, though they are seen adapting new technologies and utilising foreign devices such as the ancient subspace comm network, and adapting Starfleet holographic technology to build training facilities. Though both of these devices would go on to prove why the Prime Directive is a thing, with one relay collapsing and destroying 4 Hirogen ships, and the holograms the Hirogen created gaining sentience and starting a whole holographic revolution. Ultimately, the Hirogen are an awesome species with a cool aesthetic, but may be doomed to fail. Their all-consuming hunt has led them to spread themselves too thin, and without central hubs to anchor their people, they will eventually drift further apart until reunification is unobtainable. Their packs are too small to sustain them, and this is exacerbated by individuals who wish to claim the glory of the hunt for themselves and go it alone. Even the Kazon, a fellow nomadic species, travel in flotillas, convene meetings amid their sects, and have a planetary presence. If the Hirogen once had this, it's long gone, though they seem to remember how to manufacture space stations, so perhaps there is still hope. Thanks for listening to this Cultural Index on Star Trek's answer to the Predator. They are one of my favourite species, and I enjoyed pretty much every episode they appeared in. So the next index will be a viewer voted one as usual in the comments below. The next option will be either turning our gaze towards the Marvel universe with Thanos, the Mad Titan's homeworld of Titan, or perhaps the short-lived independent planets from the equally short-lived but epic Firefly. Vote with a like on the appropriate comment below, and until next video, I'll see you around. Goodbye.